Yeah. I want to get each roster up though.
Austin, we're live, my man.
Austin, we're live.
We're live.
Ah!
We are live.
People.
Bruce Buffer, don't sue me. You know, Bruce Buffer will sue you if you do that, Austin. That's it. The great Bruce Buffer. That is.
Oh, let's get ready to rumble, Brian.
That's Michael Buffer.
Bruce Buffer. It's time. Yeah. That one, okay? You want that, folks? Sorry,
just for you though.
We're the final week of PennZone is off to a bang here. I'm here. This is sports editor Austin Herzog, alongside high school football expert, trending news guru Brian Linder. Brian, it's state quarterfinal night. We got in the box below. We've got Bishop McDevitt handling Exeter 48-7 in a quarterfinal. What have you had your eye on tonight in addition to this one? Or touch on this one first, right?
Talk about this one we got. And by the way, we got the live stream going if you want to, watch the end of this beatdown. We got it going over on PennLive too. So if you don't want to listen to us talk, you want to see some McDevitt's guys running around here. We got Bruce Batchley over there with former Northern coach Bill Miller on the call. He's stepping in tonight, doing a really good job, I thought, bringing some expertise to the podcast. Yeah, Bill Miller, he got let go this week at Northern. And I'm just going to say one thing before we get rolling. Bill's always kind of been a good dude, I thought, and I think he always got the most out of his Northern teams. Dillsburg isn't always going to produce the high caliber athletes that maybe some of the other areas have. But man, he had some scrappy teams, and they were going to run the football, and they beat they beat Hannah a couple times, last couple of years with some really good athletes, and they ran it on them. But anyway, no, we're here, man. We're looking at this game, Austin. First of all, Mechanicsburg, they get knocked out last week by Bishop McDevitt, and it was a 2-score ball game. Could have been a 3 or 4 score ball game, but Mechanicsburg had some big plays down in the red zone, picking off Stone Saunders. Again, I just want to go back to Mechanicsburg. They finished their season, like 11-1, and boy, they were a pretty good ball club. That's what that tells us, because we know Exeter's a good team, and I know their star running back Jaden Zandier got hurt early in this game, but McDevitt's just taking it to them. So I think it's a testament too for that special season that Mechanicsburg had, but also this is good to see from McDevitt. Moving up to 5A, they're going to be 5A District 3 5A champions, and they're going to play the winner of that Central Catholic Central Catholic Bethel Park game, or Peters Township game. I'm sorry, and I don't know if we have a score. They play tomorrow, actually, Austin. So
they'll get the winner of Pine Richland and Peters Township.
I'm all over the place with it, but
it's all good, man.
Both of those are really good teams. That's going to be a tough matchup for McDevitt. But if they win that, man, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, we should set the scene here, because this has been comprehensive by Bishop McDevitt. Early on in the game, Stone Saunders surpasses 3,000 yards for the season. He becomes the first quarterback in state history to throw for 3,000 yards in all 4 high school seasons. He's the first one to ever do it. He's also, as we recall earlier this year, he set the touchdown passing record for a career. And Stone is, with another understanding that there's another week ahead for the Crusaders, Stone will be within reach of the career passing yards record in the state of Pennsylvania. So really impressive there. His number one target, Dom Diaz-Ellis, was a man on fire. Jonte Quick's doing it. They've been running it well tonight. They've been throwing it well. I did want to make a point, because we always talk skill position guys, Brian, and Bishop McDevitt tonight has done it both ways on offense. And I wanted to make sure to shout out all their starting offensive linemen. That's JJ Torres, Ja'Kai Logan, Landon Blouch, Landon Colbert, and Jude Slover. Also, you're getting some good contributions from Liam Fuller, the tight end on the edge of the line there. Those are the starting linemen that I don't, it's the old story. The heavies up front never get enough credit.
And really, that's a new group from last year. They pretty much replaced. I think, or that's a fairly new group. They had to replace a lot of guys. Did you see them pop that fumble out there, man?
I was over on my note sheet, so I did not see it.
Kick return, they nailed the kid. Ball went up in the air, about 4 foot. McDevitt guy called it. About as good as you get.
Yeah, I mean, it's been all gone for them. I mean, the game went to 48-0 because of a 99-yard scoop and score from Jaden Chase in McDevitt's favor. So it's just things have been coming up roses for them tonight.
So I believe, obviously we can say that Stone Saunders, Bishop McDevitt's quarterback, he surpassed 3,000 yards on the season. Now, Dan Sostek for us is reporting that's the first time, he's the only guy in Pennsylvania history to do 4 3,000-yard seasons. I think Alex Irby might be close to that, but honestly, Alex Irby may have had some 4,000-yard seasons, obviously because Alex Irby's still ahead of him.
Would Alex have had that prolific of a freshman year?
He was actually his freshman year. He was our first team all-area quarterback. They won state his freshman year, but I don't think I can't remember if he threw for 3,000 yards or not. So I was going to say, and obviously we just missed a snap here, but the quarterback that was in for McDevitt is number 9, Sebastian Williams. He's a young guy. He's a guy who, again, Stone he got that 4 3,000-yard passing season, which Dan Sostek's reporting is the first time in state history that's been done. He's still a couple hundred yards behind Alex Irby for the all-time career passing yardage mark. Obviously, he set the touchdown, career passing touchdown mark. And Irby actually holds the single season passing touchdown mark. But anyway, so Stone's got some major things, major milestones. But the Sebastian Williams kid, who was just in number 9 for McDevitt, they're really excited about him too. And they think he's going to be really, really good here when Stone rolls out. Unfortunately, now we don't get to see a bunch of them because had a bad snap there. I don't even know if it was a bad snap. Lucky did hit him in the hands a little high, but and now Exeter is knocking on the door. Probably going to be a little too late. Not enough.
You think?
Too late, right?
Is it too little, too late at 48-7 with a bit of 20 left? Just probably. Yeah. No, I mean the running game has been great. Nazir Jones-Davis was cooking for McDevitt on the ground. So was Maurice Barnes. Jerome LaRue Jr. ran back the opening kickoff in the second half. Yeah, I mean it's just all phases here for McDevitt tonight.
So obviously, if you're Exeter here, you want to score, you want to go for 2, you want to onside kick, you want to score, you want to go for 2. Then you need to onside kick again and recover it, and you need to score and go for 2. It can happen, Austin. Simple
arithmetic.
All they need is 41 points, and they need a point a second. That's all they need right here. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you caught me slipping on that one.
We got a bunch of other.
They're trying to get one in, Austin, to close out their season, and he almost fumbled.
Hard times for the Eagles tonight.
Push.
Got some other good ones going. Actually, some teams are pulling away here. Some competitive games that have now turned into, a little one-sided. So it looks like Pittsburgh Central Catholic leads State College 38-13. Eric Epler is out there at Mansion Park in Altoona for that one. Pittsburgh Central Catholic, the District 7 champs in 6A, have asserted themselves. I know I was running through the Twitter. Penn State commit Xavier Thomas just a little bit ago picked off Eddie Corkery. So good news for the Penn State commit as Central Catholic continues. We've got the closest one of the night that I've found is Wyomissing and Lampeter Strasburg in the District 3 4A championship. That's 20 all. The one that we have on here is the District 1 6A championship between Downingtown West and North Penn. They're two of the dynasty programs of District 1. North Penn is the dynasty program, and they'd had a couple down years here in recent times. So it's you see North Penn back on the big stage here, but won't be able to get it done tonight. But
Hey, boy,
yeah,
you ain't lying, Austin, about tonight's games. But we could run through them. I mean, look, here we go. You ready? 1A. Port Allegheny 38, Wilmington 20, final. Muncie 41, DeLone Catholic 17. It says fourth quarter. Troy 42, Bedford 16. That Troy team's been on fire, hasn't they, Austin?
Oh yeah.
Let's see. It looks like all your 3A games are Saturday. 4A, Bonner Prendy 21. Your Pope John Paul Golden Panthers going down 7.
Going down.
That's in the third quarter though. So
no, it's not. It's that one's late. It's that one's a done deal. I had eyes on it. It's not especially close. Let me find it.
Rustin 34, Springfield 2. Roman Catholic loaded up Samaj Beals. They're a really good quarterback. They're winning 48-14 over Holiday.
Whoa. Rustin was 34-2 over Springfield.
That's what it says.
That's what I'm seeing here too. Wow. I mean, Rustin's had a great year, but to allow nothing to a Springfield team that was really rolling and okay, that's my score of the night. Okay.
St. Joe's Prep 34, Parkland 0. It looks like St. Joe's had to reload at a lot of positions, but I don't think anybody's necessarily surprised they're right back in it. Obviously, they beat LaSalle College last week, which we had Gavin Sidwar on here, the quarterback, Nate, and LaSalle beat them earlier in the year, which was big. But so yeah, man, we don't have a lot of close games tonight. We're getting some Mike Tyson, Jake Paul vibes off of this Downingtown West game all of a sudden. It's buffering a tad. Netflix is streaming this game. Right?
Well, actually, I got to be honest. My Tyson Jake Paul fight was actually fine. I didn't have any streaming issues.
Oh, mine was brutal. I just gave.
You know what? I really tried not to watch it, and you were like, "Oh, everybody's got to watch. Everybody's got." And I had it off for so long, and then eventually it reached the point of the night where I was like, "Well, all right."
Well, I feel like a bad person for watching it. So I feel dirty after you watch something like that.
Well, fortunately, it didn't turn into what it could have. If it had been watching Mike get absolutely dismantled, then yeah, I would have felt really dirty. Felt a little less dirty because it was a bit more of an exhibition than not just prize fight, but battle to the death. It was not Hagler Hearns. Let's put it that way.
We've been we're winding down this football season, Austin. We got before you know it, it'll be state championship time. What we should do is like a PennZone, a special edition of PennZone where we just like have different coaches and players on like during the day or something out to talk about state championships or something.
I like that thought.
Get them to pop in or whatever. And we could do it like during the afternoon or something before then.
Yeah, do live podcast style where we could save it as a podcast, but we could do it live. I like that.
It could be like a live podcast, and we just schedule them to pop in.
That'd be cool. Yeah, because even if it's not, you could do it with teams that are making this championships. You can even talk. You can even have some on that are just putting a bow on their season.
Well, look, we're less than a month away from signing day too, so there's a lot you could talk about. You can kind of just close out the season.
I like it. We'll have to get that on the books.
That game's over. McDevitt's won. They're moving on. They're district champions.
48-14.
First
Bishop McDevitt was the number 6 seed coming into the District 3
deceiving though, because they're only
playoffs.
lost.
We knew that was a inaccurate
Yeah.
number 6 seed, a sneaky 6 that nobody really wanted to see, and we see why.
Yeah.
They're district champions again. That's their 4th straight District 3 title. They moved up this year from 4A to now 5A. They continue to get it done. Keep rolling.
Only losses were shootout with State College and a game with Harrisburg that came down to the last play of the game. And both State College is going to go out tonight, but Harrisburg is playing tomorrow for a district title. So,
yeah. So we're talking teams that are in the state final 8, and they're within a whisker of each. Well, they weren't within a whisker of State College, but it was a competitive game. That was one of the most fun games of the year, I would say.
Stone threw for over 400 yards in that game.
That game was wild.
Fun. So
yeah, I was glad we were able to have the stream on for that one, because that game was wild. They were really lighting it. Eddie Corkery and Stone just letting it rip. But yeah, Bishop McDevitt rolls on. They will face the winner of Pine Richland and Peters Township in the 5A semifinal next week.
That'll be a good game tomorrow too. Both of those teams, and that'll be a tough game for McDevitt, quite frankly. I mean, if they make it to the state title, they will have earned it, because I think we kind of expected them to beat Exeter, but that's either of those teams they're going to have to play coming out of tomorrow are really good programs with some good players. So
yeah, I think one of my takeaways for the night, and where we're talking about not the most competitive games, was a topic that we've touched on here and there, but that I played devil's advocate on this topic. I think I'm going to take the other side here, which is to say the Catholic schools really have dominated tonight. You see Roman Catholic dominating, St. Joe's Prep putting a whooping on Parkland from District 11. We've got here Bishop McDevitt, Pittsburgh Central Catholic taking down State College, who we liked all year. It's just that the non-boundary aspect is showing itself to be quite the benefit here. Also, you build a great program, and if you build it, they will come. There is that factor, but there's, I think you put it the way of not the same playing field, and I think we're seeing that tonight, that those teams are able to get that extra extension that the public schools aren't able to.
Yeah. Yep. Hats off to State College, Matt Lintal and those guys always have a really nice program down there. Like I said, I mean, we were trying to figure out players of the year. We're actually talking about that before coming on the year for the Mid-Penn. We're looking at statewide too. But Mid-Penn, I mean, Ty Salinger is in that discussion, and he's had a really nice year for them. I mean, underrated guy. We had him on this podcast talking about maybe going to Penn State as a walk-on. So good program, good year, good solid year,
Yeah, school me up on the history there. How long ago did State College join the Mid-Penn in football?
It's been since before I got here.
Oh, is it that long? Okay.
Yeah,
it's such a curious arrangement where they're playing in a District 3 league, but then once the playoffs hit, they're off to District 6 to fight their way through that way. This year, where they had the really daunting task of the Mid-Penn Commonwealth Division alongside your Harrisburg, your Bishop McDevitt, you had an upstart CD East, and so they battled it out through that league, and really impressed, I thought. And then it was kind of like they were headed back up to District 6, and they had they got a forfeit from Altoona in the first round of districts. Was that the District 6 championship? Maybe. Either way, it was. So. Yeah, I think it was, where they got a forfeit just because of the scant amount of 6A schools in District 6. So it's like, it's just such a unique kind of, it's a different path that they experience versus the sort of, I'd say, more traditional route that your Harrisburg and McDevitt are going on right now?
According to our archives, the State College in Mifflin County joined the Mid-Penn Conference in 2012.
Okay, so yeah, I've been here about 8 years, so
it's good stuff, Megan. Thank you.
The weirder one to me, Austin, is Altoona. I mean, they brought Altoona back in just a couple years ago, and like you got tonight, you had Bishop McDevitt, and I mean that game was in Altoona. No, that game was in Altoona, wasn't it? Which game was in Altoona tonight?
Eric Epler was at Pittsburgh Central Catholic versus State College at Altoona.
We ended up
game that ended up at Mansion Park.
I feel like we end up playing a lot of mid-Penn games at Mansion Park, that's a ride, brother, from almost every team in the mid-Penn.
Yeah. Well, it's the old story. It's when you're in the western part of the bracket, which is how they always treat the lower half. That's kind of the midpoint. It gets pretty remote out there once you get west of Carlisle.
Like for Altoona, man, imagine you got to send. I got the yawns tonight, Austin. Got to get some energy drink on. Okay. There we go.
We got Rayshawn Scott here from Roman Catholic. Rayshawn, how you doing tonight, man?
Hold on. I got to fix the audio.
Oh, my gosh.
Come on, Ramir.
He's got the phone audio going, not through the headset. He didn't troubleshoot it.
No, we good now.
You got us, Rayshawn?
That's right.
Rayshawn, stuff, man. Tell Coach Rick Preet, I said what Brian Linder said, what's up, man? He and I go back a little bit.
Okay, I got you.
Hey, man, this has been a building for you guys. You guys have been trying to get this thing and push farther into the postseason every year. You're making a good run this year. What sets this year apart for Roman Catholic football?
Just keeping the main goal, the same goal. We finally got over that hump. City Chip, we lost 2 years in a row, so only focus is State Chip. So we got 2 games left. We're trying to get those out of the way, but we taking it week by week. So next week is our main focus right now.
You guys are coming out of that out of Philly, man. When you guys play some of these high-powered teams, like you play the St. Joe's and stuff like that, and I know you guys have always trying to get there with them. How does that prepare you guys though for when you get in a situation like this in the postseason, having played those tough ballers, man?
I feel like they get us ready because they got every type of package. They might get spread, wing tee, tight, any type of formation. So we can be ready for everything we see. So that's really how they're preparing us.
What's been the mark of how would you sum up your regular season for us? And yeah, I guess how do you summarize what the path to this point?
A lot of challenges, a lot of ups and downs. We can say we took some losses that we didn't expect in the league, but especially a humbling experience, that helps us stay focused and don't look past anybody. So that helps us out a lot.
Well, I think Roman Catholic's been one of the most talented teams in Pennsylvania across the last couple of years, right? And you guys haven't fully broken through to where you want to get to. Like we said, you're on a good roll here, but how hungry are you guys to end up at Cumberland Valley, man?
Yeah, like I said, last year, 2 years ago, we lost it twice to the same team. So that's really what got us motivated because we still grieving off of that and trying to get what we've been working for the state championship.
All right, Rayshawn. Well, big win tonight for you guys. Keep it rolling, man. Tell Preet I said what's up, and you got a pretty good quarterback out there too, in Samaj Bills. I know we've had him on the podcast and stuff, but Roman Catholic, man, you guys are making a run. Appreciate you, Rayshawn.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm about to go report. I'll talk to y'all a little bit later.
Good.
Yeah, we got to talk about Temple basketball.
We sure we want to do that?
Point shaving.
I'm not sure if that's going to please the people.
They're point shaving, man. I mean, that's the accusation.
I honestly, not to go too far down the rabbit hole, but once sports betting became more prevalent, I can't see how it is not a frequent thing in especially lower college athletics.
Well, We'll see. I mean, because the kid Hazier Miller, for people who don't know Hazier Miller, who was a star at Newman Goretti, come out this week that he looks like he's under a federal investigation for point shaving during his time at Temple, which he transferred after last season. He led him in scoring. Hazier was a 4A state player of the year in Pennsylvania, Austin. So it's not football, but something to know. And yeah, I hope somebody got something wrong there because he's a talented kid, and that's not a good thing to have attached to your name. So, interesting Pennsylvania news there. That Roman Catholic team, let's talk about them real quick. You know, like I said, they got Samaj Beals at quarterback. He was a kid that, like as a sophomore, for a time there, he was one of the most sought-after quarterbacks in Pennsylvania. He even had an offer from Alabama when Saban was there. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Bryce Young. He's a little bit wiry. Kind of got the same kind of like release and stuff, and got a really strong arm. They've had a really kind of talented lineup, Austin, and talented roster. You know, but they playing against teams like, you know, they've always run up against, like when they'll run up against like St. Joe's Prep out there in Philly, they would get cracked here and there by them, and you know, but
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you look at it here. That's a team they had 4 losses this year. They lost to DeMatha Catholic of Maryland, got blown out 49-12. They lost to Bonner Prendergast 38-30. And then they lost to St. Joe's Prep 48-20. And they also lost to LaSalle. But you see it, that kind of battle tested, facing off against the top teams. You then, it's not too hard to go against Hollidaysburg when you've gone through that battle. So it's iron sharpens iron, as I love that, one of my favorite coach speak type of lines. I love iron sharpens iron, and I think that's the case there. You got Roman having their way 48-14 there to see their way through. That was at Mechanicsburg. Youngblood's back. Okay.
Amir.
Yes.
What did you see out there from Roman Catholic? How'd Samaj Beals look at quarterback?
He looked good. I got the stats right here in front of me. Is this his stats? Yes, it is. He went 12 for 1,888 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like, he looked decisive. He looked like he knew what he was doing. He looked like he knew what he was doing. And he struggled a little bit at times, especially toward like the second quarter, but he shook off those struggles and really was perfect for the rest of the game.
We call this the walk and talk with Ramir.
Give the people what they want, you know. So what else stood out to you about the game, Ramir? I mean, we were just running down Roman's season and the fact that they've lost 4 games, but it was against basically 4 of the heaviest hitters of the Northeast corridor here in Southeast PA and DeMatha Catholic from Maryland. So, you know, they lost to LaSalle, St. Joe's, and Bonner, but those are all teams that are going to the Final Four in the state here. So it seems like they put in the tough miles, and now it's paying off for them in the end. What was some of your takeaway with your conversations with the Roman players and coach?
They can do basically whatever they want. I grabbed Sean after he basically said that they came in expecting snow, expecting rain, and all that pretty much stopped like before they took the field. So their game plan coming in was to run the ball, and obviously they did that as well. But they can run the ball, they can pass the ball. The explosive plays also was something that I found very, very interesting because, sorry. Okay, here we go. I found the explosive plays interesting because they could get them whenever they wanted them. The Hollidaysburg secondary was very shaky throughout the entire game, and they took advantage of it. Like Rayshawn had a 70-yard touchdown pass, and basically he walked me through it, and he was like his corner bit on a hitch, and the corner he was lined up to get bit on a hitch route, and he wide open 70-yard touchdown.
Good deal. They've always been one of the more talented teams in Pennsylvania, as you probably know.
I
Coming
can't
out,
hear you, Brian.
I said, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me, Austin?
I can hear you, Brian. I think we lost the lad. Yeah, he's got. All right, sorry, pal. Gonna give young Ryan.
Yeah, like we were saying, they've always been one of the cooler. Here's a cool comment. You ready? Over on, and he's watching right now. Jesus Miguel Torres on our feed. Austin says, Arriba, Bishop McDevitt, Aypayando, Desde, Ciudad Juarez, Chihuahua, Mexico. Now, I took 7 years of Spanish, and I can hardly speak a link, but I put that up, and it says, up Bishop McDevitt, supporting from Ciudad Juarez, Chihuahua, Mexico.
That's awesome.
And says he's shouts out 77 JJ Torres from McDevitt. So he's got family all the way in Mexico watching PennZone tonight. Jesus, your guys were district champs tonight. They moving up to 5A this year and really put it on Exeter, which was a tough team. They're going to have a tough matchup next week, to try to go to state. But been a really good year for them. And I believe Austin brought up JJ Torres.
I was just going to say, I'm glad that I gave the shout out to the big men up front, including JJ Torres, because, we got to give them some love tonight. Love it, man. Jesus, thanks for checking in.
Yeah, all the way from Mexico. So
love it. I'm not going to be too far from there in another week. I'm
where are you
headed
going?
to San Diego, man. I'm going to be in Palm Springs and San Diego.
Oh, okay. Well, must be nice.
Take a little drive down and find my way to
So
Tijuana.
Central Catholic's up 38-19 on State College. St. Joe's Prep 46-7 over Parkland. And the last we had was Lampeter and Wyomissing at 27-all with just a few seconds left.
Yeah. Unfortunately, no stream available for that one. That would have been a nice one to be able to check in on, keep tabs. So, but we'll keep you up to date based on the tweets that come flowing in.
Austin, Jesus said, gracias por su saludo excelente. Transición es mi sobrino, JJ Torres. And that means, thank you for your greeting. Excellent transition. My nephew is 77, JJ Torres.
Love it.
The reach of
Brian, we're worldwide.
Yeah, we're in a different country. That's cool, Jesus. So, and you should be proud. That's a big win for McDevitt, and he's a good player. So, Austin, they don't pay me California money, man. Must be.
We're gonna see about that next year.
Getting the big bucks, man.
You might get that California money.
You going out to the West Coast, getting the sun.
I'm always pretty well traveled throughout my adult life. I've been a lot of great places, especially before fatherhood. I mean, man, Turkey, Italy, Greece, Spain a few times, England, Bora Bora. Woof.
I've been to Mexico. I liked it a lot. And I want to go to Germany because my dad's adopted from Germany. And
is that right?
Yes.
That's absolutely one with our last name like Herzog. You don't have to guess too much where my heritage is from. So Germany is high on my list these days. I was actually even exploring that. I was like, can I go to Germany here in this post-Thanksgiving corridor? But then ultimately Southern California won out. Oh, producer Megan bringing up the hallowed ground of Brian. Do you know what that is? I'm curious. I want to see.
We play real football where I'm from.
Exactly. Proper football right there. Anfield,
we play real football.
The home of Liverpool in Liverpool, England. I have been there, and it was a religious experience. I'll be honest. of all my sporting interests, that team, that is my number one. So yeah, that was 2014. That was a very special trip. Actually,
Hey,
right around this time, right around Thanksgiving, I
Hey,
left
Megan.
Thanksgiving night.
hey, Megan and Austin, this is a real football podcast. This is
I
real
know,
football
proper football.
right here. Not the little footy stuff that you guys are talking about here. You get a red card if you get a little too physical. You know.
We
So
outnumber you,
you've
Brian.
never heard of
Just
it?
to let you
Exactly. I
know
was just
this.
going to say.
We got.
So you've never heard of a personal foul then?
Oh man, we got dudes who play football. You know. We're gonna.
It is a different exercise.
You guys can start the PennLive Premier League podcast on another night, okay?
They'll challenge us. No, my guys, John Gibbons and Neil Atkinson from the Anfield Rap guy, I stand no chance of taking over the dynasty that they've created. So I'm going to leave the podcasting on the Premier League soccer to those guys who have been very good to me in the few times that we've interacted with one another. But anyway, I'm off on a big tangent now. What else we got coming in here? The thing slowed. Yeah, State College is. There was still, as of 5 minutes ago, there was still 8:38 left in that one, but Pittsburgh Central Catholic was up 38-19, so that was pretty much well in hand. I mean, State College hanging in there to their credit. Looks like Wyomissing and Lampeter Strasburg went to overtime. I'm trying to keep tabs on that one because that has been the game that has been the most competitive of the night.
Yeah, I mean, really two really good tough teams. Run the football, good defense, good offense. Let's see. Let's look here, Austin. So 6A. Looks like your Harrisburg-Wilson winner is going to play Pittsburgh Central Catholic next week.
Yeah, actually, I'll get those brackets completed and get them uploaded.
So, I mean, look, that's not going to be an easy game tomorrow for Harrisburg. Wilson's ascending. They're getting better as the season goes on. Harrisburg has, for the most part, gotten the better of them the last 5, 6, 7 years. And it's pretty much a home game for Wilson, even though it's supposed to be neutral site. So it's not a given that Harrisburg's going to win that, but big, look, Harrisburg, we thought at the beginning of the year they would be there, and here they are. They're a win away, 2 wins away from maybe getting back to state. The other side of that bracket looks like we're going to have who was up in that North Penn Downingtown game, Austin?
Downingtown won 35-16, so they will face St. Joseph's Prep next week.
So, I mean, no disrespect to Downingtown, but you're probably thinking I think everybody would be shocked at this point if St. Joe's isn't a reloaded St. Joe's, because they lost so many good players from last year. If everybody be surprised they're not in the final. So, if Harrisburg does get back to there, I mean, that's been a buzzsaw for them running into St. Joe's. Harrisburg had a really, really, really good team a couple of years ago. And like they take a little bit of heat right now because maybe in some people's eyes because they got a few transfers coming in this year, but I don't think they had a ton of transfers that year. And they kind of run into a buzzsaw St. Joe's because St. Joe's is fully loaded. But if this was a year you're going to get at St. Joe's, this might be the year. They've shown that they can be beat. But really good coaching staff. It's like playing a college team all the way around there. So that's kind of what you're looking at in 6A, Austin.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth sharing some perspective about having spent most of my career in District 1. You kind of viewed it like that was the District 1 championship was kind of the final. And it was like, okay, well, we're just going to be lambs to slaughter against St. Joe's Prep. And it's been that way most of the year. So welcome, Dan Sostek.
Dan.
Howdy, guys. My fingers are finally working. We couldn't really. It was kind of a struggle on the field with the wintry mix and everything, but you got me in Evan Whedon's car right now. So
Oh wow,
Nice!
we got it's the two-pronged attack. Wow. Gentlemen, you
adventure.
saw McDevitt really handle business, do it both ways. Stone Saunders setting more records. What are your key takeaways?
Well, I kind of talked with Coach Jeff Wechter about it after the game, and he kind of said what I said at the halftime, which is that you're starting to see the dividends paid of playing a Commonwealth schedule in the regular season. I think is that you know a lot of times McDevitt kind of has to get that wake up call or something, or kind of they've already faced adversity throughout the regular season, and they are just rolling through these teams, right? Like they look as good as they've looked all year. This was their most complete performance of the season. Jaden Zandier came in hurt, but they held him to 5 carries for 3 yards as a 2,000-yard rusher. The defense was incredible. They did whatever they wanted on offense. They look as much like a state title team as they've looked all season.
Yeah, Dan, I know you and I have talked, and you've been really, really impressed with Stone Saunders here down the stretch. How did he look tonight in the cold weather out there? I think he threw a couple touchdowns and maybe set another state record, right?
Yeah, I think that tonight he was so good at taking what the defense gave him. They were playing off. I think they were obviously pretty worried about the explosive play of Dominic Diaz-Ellis and Jonte Quick. A big 4th down conversion to put the team up 20. And when that running game is going, there's just not much you can do. Like, you can blitz them. They're just going to run up the middle. The line's been awesome. Stone made some really good throws at the hashes today. Dominic Diaz-Ellis was his top target today. Evan was talking about how much he's built that connection with Dominic Diaz-Ellis. And first player in PA high school history with 4 3,000-yard passing seasons. And we talk about it all the time whenever we have guys that break the records. You think about all the great quarterbacks in Pennsylvania: Jim Kelly, Joe Montana, Joe Namath, Johnny Unitas, Dan Marino. The list goes on, and Stone Saunders is the only one to ever do it. So, just another one. I'm sure all he cares about right now is getting that second state title.
Yeah,
I like the point you made there, Dan, a little bit ago about the competition level that McDevitt got. We just got off with Rayshawn Scott from Roman Catholic, and I then went and looked down their season schedule, and they have 4 losses, but they lost to St. Joe's, LaSalle, Bonner, and then DeMatha. So it was like, even though you might take a couple losses, we see it bear out here that the tests of those really, you end up receiving the dividends of it on the back end. And I think I think we're all in agreement that is bearing out here with the level that McDevitt is now playing.
Dan, you spent a lot of time out west too, and I mean, obviously, this next game for them is going to be really tough. I mean, you've seen them the last couple of weeks. I mean, what kind of shot do you think McDevitt has to get to state now?
Well, I think that, when you look at the two teams, right, Pine Richland is a team that has proven it's not going to be afraid of, a lineup full of Division I players, right? They had that win over Ematep a few years back in the state title game. That's a program run by John Ladon that is never going to be out of a football game. And then Peters Township, another team that was in the state title game a year ago, that has a lot of talent as well, as put players into high college football as well. And then it's just the general, like, they are physical, tough teams that are going to be a tough matchup. But the way McDevitt is running the football right now, to me, is key. And like you said, Austin, just there, these games that they played against Harrisburg, against State College, even against Cumberland Valley, who, gave Manheim Township a tough game and has one of the best offensive linemen in the country on their roster, against CD East, they have played against these deep teams, and they lost one of the games to Harrisburg on the last second play, but other than that, they've come out on top. They're about as tested, I think, as you can say, as any McDevitt team has been at this stage of a season so far. And we all know how the Whippeal games, they're looking forward to those Whippeal games. I was talking to Rob Pugliese in the press box. He said, in years past, before it was the championship game where you'd end up against Aliquippa in the championship game, they would be in the bracket where you could get a Whippeal team, but that Cathedral Prep would oftentimes knock out the Whippeal team, and they'd end up playing against Cathedral Prep. They've played against Central Valley before, but these Pine Richland and Peters Township, those are two big bad boys coming out of another area that's going to be going to be up in Mansion Park. So it's going to be the game. Might be our only game left, depending on how the Harrisburg Wilson games goes. Probably, we'll see how that game goes, but it's going to be appointment television, and we might have a doubleheader there. Who knows?
Can I add one more thing about to Dan's point about how well McDevitt's running the ball right now? You know how, like, on the Detroit Lions, it's like Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery are called Sonic and Knuckles. It's like Nazir Jones-Davis would be like the Jameer Gibbs, I'd say, and then Maurice Barnes is like, Knuckles. He pounded in from the 1 yard line. You're going to give the ball to that guy in those goal line packages. It's really nice, that rotation of those two behind that offensive line. So, yeah, they're Sonic and Knuckles, man.
Yeah, and it's not even fair because they also have Jerome LaRue Jr., who had got in a little bit at running back, but also had an 86-yard kick return touchdown today. So
he's only a freshman, so something to keep an eye on for years to come.
Yeah. I have a question for all you guys, especially you, Dan and Brian. What defines a successful season for McDevitt?
Well, Jeff Wechter answered that. He said we don't
okay.
He basically said because McDevitt tied the District 3 record for most district titles ever with 18, burying the lead there. But I'm burying the lead because Jeff Wechter said we don't really. I don't know if he said care, but he said we judge our seasons by state titles at Bishop McDevitt. So I basically think the thought process is anything short of a state title is going to be disappointment for the group, especially this group with Stone Saunders in his final year. They've already accomplished it once, and I think they feel like they can do it again. And when you look at the bracket, a game against Roman Catholic, if they make it all the way, would be a fascinating one. This next week's game will be really fascinating as well, but there's definitely no reason they can't win the state title this year. So I think if McDevitt's ever in that kind of hunt, there's nothing short of a state title that's going to make everyone, happy with the season, I think.
Yeah, I think that's it, Austin. I mean, when I first got here, they had a couple years where they kind of struggled to get over the hump, and Cathedral Prep had some good, they had the good running back, the Lucas kid, who ran all over him one year up in Mansion Park, and he had some teams that probably weren't as mentally tough as these guys have been the last couple years. So yeah, I think this year, I think they'll be disappointed if they don't win state, especially getting to this point in the season. So
it's interesting. I mean, the margins are so. The degree of difficulty is high when that is your measure of success or not. But I mean, they're doing it pretty well right now. Looks like Dan decided, I'm out of here, boys.
Yeah,
had enough of you.
Yeah.
Hey there. Almost back. We're back to the score. We have a final there between Pittsburgh Central Catholic and State College. Pittsburgh Central Catholic 41-19 over State College. The Mid-Penn Commonwealth team and District 6 champion goes out to the powerhouse in District 7. Winner of that one will get winner of Wilson versus Harrisburg, which will be played 1 p.m. tomorrow at Exeter. We will have Eric Epler and Evan Wheaton headed on out there.
Should be a good one. Like I said, should be a good one. So,
actually, why don't I pose that question then about the same question about McDevitt in respect to Harrisburg?
Harrisburg's the same way, man. Look, they've been to 3 state championships. I want to say 3. in the last
Mhm.
9 years or so. They lost to Archbishop Wood when they had Mark Webb and Speedy Blackshear, who's now with the Panthers. Michael was on that team. Archbishop Wood also had a guy named Kyle Pitts on that team. So they had 3 NFL guys, and they lost to them. Michael Parsons, of course, was on Harrisburg, and then they lost to. I want to say they lost to St. Joe's. I want to say twice. I'm getting old, so my memory. I used to have a photographic memory, but obviously a couple years ago they lost to St. Joe's. They've won 3 straight district titles. I don't think that really gets them fired up. A lot of what they anymore. I mean, obviously they want to win them, but the big thing for Harrisburg would be to finally win a state title. And like I said before, credit to Cal Everett and those guys is they always do a really good job, Austin, of ascending and getting better as the season goes on. Almost the entirety of the time I've been here, they've gotten better as the season went on. Outside of the Micah Parsons second year, where they inexplicably sort of lost to Governor Mifflin, which that was one of the best teams I've ever seen. Micah Parsons and those guys. I don't know how they lost to that team. But I think that Carolyn Fortney just jumped on. I don't think Carolyn and the gang would be happy if they didn't make it to state, right? I don't think they would be happy with just winning a district title. The Cougar family, they want to win state. And Wilson's going to be a tough test. If they can get through Wilson, going to have another tough one there. But they can get there, and it looks like they're going to be looking at St. Joe's again if they can get there. So
yeah, it certainly feels that way. It's a hard path.
This is the year. If you're going to, St. Joe's is talented, but they got some younger guys. This is the year if you're going to beat them. This is the year you got to beat them. And so maybe. So I was looking at 5A. You got, like I said, you got Pine Ridge and Peters Township tomorrow. That winner gets Bishop McDevitt. Over on the other side, Ruston beat Springfield Delco tonight. They'll play Roman Catholic. I would think it's going to be Roman Catholic versus that McDevitt, Pine Ridge, and Peters Township team in the 5A state championship, which should be a really good game, Austin. I mean, whatever matchup you get out of there should be a really interesting game. So we could have another, Austin, a couple years ago, we had, it's fun because like Carolyn Fortney, again, she's watching this. She'll probably remember we had Steele High, Bishop McDevitt, and Harrisburg all make the state championship games. And, and really, if you can throw a rock and hit Steele High from Harrisburg, and Bishop McDevitt used to be right across the street, literally from Harrisburg, and then they moved out a little bit. They're a couple miles from Harrisburg, but they're all these kids knew each other and stuff. And there were some rivalries, and people like to talk smack around these games in the city, but it was really fun seeing how kind of everybody in our area here in central Pennsylvania, in the Harrisburg area, was kind of pulling for all 3 of these teams to win. And it was fun. And so you could end up again with Bishop McDevitt and Harrisburg very easily playing for state championships. And they renewed that rivalry this year. It was a great game. Harrisburg beat them, came down to the last play, but it would be fun. It's a fun time, Austin. If those 2 teams could get there, it was really fun with Steele High there for us in central Pennsylvania, just to see the community kind of come together around it.
Yeah, that is really cool. Yeah, I said one of the things that I've always appreciated is once you get out to the larger playoffs, that league teams start to pull for one another, and because what it does is it legitimizes what your resume from the regular season, as well as they might be your friends or your club teammates, or you go to camp together or whatever. But then you've also got that factor of just further legitimizes you if you played and hung with the state champ. It only makes you look better. So I always appreciate when
Carolyn Fortney, who's, for people who don't know, that's Elias Koch's mom. He's one of the best receivers in the state, and he's nationally ranked. He plays for the Cougars. She just said all these boys play 7-on-7 together. They do. And really the unique thing about that, when we go back a couple years ago when those three teams made it, Steel High, Bishop McDevitt, and Harrisburg, and this year, like I said, we could end up with Bishop McDevitt and Harrisburg, is not only do they play 7-on-7 together, a lot of them grew up together. You know, Bishop McDevitt has a lot of guys who live in Harrisburg, right? They're and probably could be going to Harrisburg High. And so they know each other. These kids know each other. And that's one of the things that makes it a fun rivalry too when they play, is like they grew up together in a lot of cases, you know. And again, McDevitt does have some kids from, I think, over like Lancaster way and stuff like that too. But there's some Harrisburg kids on that team, and they all
I'd
know.
be curious. I need to know who that.
Hey,
who would add to the Harrisburg squad there to create that super team.
Yeah,
it'd be interesting to know.
And like, well, you look, the defensive coordinator over at McDevitt is Danny Lansana, who was a Harrisburg Cougar, who played at UConn and played in the NFL. So there's a lot of ties that bind between those programs. Good fun rivalry, and like I said, if they both can make it, all of Harrisburg will be pulling for them, and it's kind of, like I said, it's just a fun atmosphere to see. And look, we'll be honest, and I kind of told a story before too. Look, like any city, Harrisburg's had some issues, you know, here the last couple of years. We've had some kids get shot and stuff like that in Harrisburg, and you know, and what these kids have done has been kind of like a uplifting thing for the city to see these kids doing well and doing something positive. The past couple of years, it's been one of the bright spots about Harrisburg High, because it's not just about a game. They've had a lot of kids, and Bishop McDevitt too, and Steel High too, take kids out of the city and send them off to school and stuff like that, and give other people a reason to be excited when things aren't always easy. So it really is a fun story to kind of root for, to see them both make it.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons why we're both in the business that we are, is getting those stories and seeing the avenue that sports provides. So I pulled up the 6A bracket just so people could see the actual bracket if they desire. You got Downingtown West in the top spot, and they'll face St. Joseph's Prep, the reigning champions I think they're going for their 4th straight this year. They'll face off in the semifinals. Then Pittsburgh Central Catholic, who defeated State College, they will get the winner of Harrisburg and Wilson next week. I think I also have the 5A that I will happily queue up. There's the 5A. Westchester Ruston beat Springfield Delco, the top seed in District 1 5A. 34 to 2 tonight.
I've been here 8 years, and I don't remember last time I seen Ruston that far, this deep in a bracket.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, my hair was blown back, because a lot of the times at that 5A level, it ends up being a Central League team. It's one of the Delco teams, and they kind of cut their a Strathaven versus a Springfield Delco. That's what it's been for the last bunch of years. So to see one of the Westchester teams come up like that, yeah, man, Ruston, how about it? Yeah, so they'll get Roman Catholic, who was in our backyard here tonight. They took care of Hollidaysburg. I sent out Rymir Vaughn to that one just because it was in our backyard, and it felt like, hey, Roman is doing their thing and really, again, bringing another power at a different level from District 12. So they're headed on to the semifinal. They're not the same type of pedigree that St. Joe's, LaSalle quite are, but Roman's finding their way in 5A, and they look like a force to be reckoned with. On the bottom half, Bishop McDevitt is through, as you would have seen us all over. Bishop McDevitt will get the winner of Pine Richland and Peters Township, which is played tomorrow. Got some good stuff, man.
If McDevitt makes it through, and Roman Catholic makes it through, you're going to get a matchup of 2 of the better quarterbacks of Pennsylvania, with Samaj Beals at Roman Catholic and Stone Saunders there at McDevitt. And I don't know how many yards off he is now. I don't know how many yards he threw for tonight, but he is. If they win the next week, I would think he has a decent shot to get the all-time career passing yardage mark too from Alex Irby. I don't think he's going to beat that single season touchdown passing mark that Alex Irby had. So it looks like Irby will keep at least one, but Stone might make a run at a second one of his. Obviously, he beat the career passing touchdown mark earlier this year. So he may make a run at another one of Alex's all-time passing records. So that's been fun to watch a few years here in the state.
And entering the night, we had a post up. Eric Epler did a post about Stone Saunders and Ty Salazar chasing a few respective records. So check that article. And actually, I'm sure we'll have an update on where they stand after this week to see how close Stone Saunders is to breaking some of those state passing records, that one of which he's already taken down. He entered the night 430 off of Alex Irby's career passing yards record. So presuming he actually ran the rock pretty well tonight. So but he probably had short of maybe around 200 passing yards. So a big game next week, and he could have it. Yeah, really interesting stuff.
Did you say yards did he throw for? Did you say that?
I don't know. I was just, having watched the game, I was just sort of ballparking it. I was thinking he probably was around 200 yards. Actually, you know what? He might not have even been that high, because he ended up, when the running clock hit around the third quarter, he left the game and made way for Sebastian Williams under center. So he, it's hard to say. We'll put it this way. Well, at halftime, he had 96 yards.
Yeah, he threw for 163 yards tonight. So 430. Okay. He was 430 away from the record.
Yeah.
430, because I can't do math. That's why I'm a writer. So let's do 430.
Like 270 or so that he's off of it.
267. So, I mean, he could, if they win next week, Stone Saunders is probably going to be your all-time passing, through the state championship, your all-time passing yardage leader, as well as your all-time passing touchdown leader. I don't think he's going to catch Alex Irby's single-season touchdown record for passing. So Irby would probably at least keep one of the records, which good for him. He's a great kid, and he had a heck of a career too. So, but Stone is now within pretty decent striking distance, especially with a win next week.
Pretty compelling stuff. Brian, past 10 o'clock.
Yep.
I think let's put a bow on this.
We got dinner waiting.
Good deal.
So
what's it going to be? What's on the menu?
Dad's Garage. I'm eating breakfast for dinner. Dad's Garage, great in Mechanicsburg. They got good stuff, man.
Love it. Breakfast for dinner, baby.
It really is. If you haven't gone yet, Austin, you should go. Their patty melt is amazing.
Okay.
They have good chicken, Megan. I get it a lot, DoorDash and stuff, and then they got good breakfast.
Sounds like y'all need to get them as a sponsor of the show for next year.
Yeah, we just give them a free ad, Megan. But they are.
I'm saying we just gave them a free plug. You guys both put them over big time, so let's make it happen.
All right, guys.
Carolyn,
I'll be watching your Cougars tomorrow, Carolyn Fortney, if you're still watching. We'll be watching. We're sending two guys. You said Austin?
Yes, sir. Eric Epler and Evan Wheaton will be on the scene.
So we'll be covering the heck out of it.
That's right. Yep. I think this is probably going to put a bow on this season of PennZone, because I don't think we're going to have access to enough streams next week to make it work. But Brian, this was a lot of fun, man. I'm glad we did this this fall. I enjoyed it, whether there was a ton of eyeballs or not. I think it was a great offering that hopefully people appreciated and enjoyed. I enjoyed doing it with you. It was good watching the games, jumping back and forth, just keeping tabs on it, like we would have done otherwise. But kind of tag teaming it and keeping an eye on the state at large. Yeah, so
And
I
Megan,
appreciate you doing it with me.
Megan staying up late with us.
That's
Kicking
right.
our-
And Megan, yeah, Megan was off all day, and she's like, nope, I'm coming in for Penn. I'm going to work PennZone. So yes, shout out to producer Megan for all that she's done as well, for being the quarterback behind the scenes of every week of
Thanks.
PennZone. So thank you, Megan.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun, guys. Now we talked football year. We kind of watched all these teams every Friday night, and now we get to see who's gonna pull it out. In a couple weeks, Megan will be out there at Cumberland Valley with you, and we see if she can not get hit by a football this year.
Please listen to the PA High School Football Report as well. We are twice a week until the end of playoffs, and then we go back to once a week.
Yep.
Can't wait. We'll have good stuff.
Carolyn Forney said she loved it this year. Thanks, Carolyn. We appreciate you watching. And again, we had a watcher tonight, Jesus Torres from Mexico, giving a shout out to JJ Torres on Bishop McDevitt. So big night we still got for Central Pennsylvania. We still got a couple teams in it. Austin, tell them we're going to have a bunch of stuff on Penn Live here tonight and in the coming days and weeks.
We will. We'll have multiple stories from Bishop McDevitt's District 3 championship win. That'll be from Dan Sostek and Evan Wheaton. Ramir Vaughn will have coverage from the Roman Catholic victory over Hollidaysburg. Eric Epler was out in Altoona. He'll have coverage from State College versus Pittsburgh Central Catholic. I'll be pulling over the Parkland St. Joseph's Prep story on the Penn Live from our brothers and sisters at Lehigh Valley Live. So it's combine all the forces that we have to bring as comprehensive coverage as possible from around the state of Pennsylvania. So that will be on tap as well. Like you said, Harrisburg, Wilson tomorrow, and we'll be going full tilt the rest of the postseason. Look out for more stories throughout the week. And maybe we'll have a special edition of PennZone, like Brian suggested earlier, with following along with the players and coaches who are making their way to the state championships. So the march continues for those teams. Brian, Megan, thank you so much for your work this year. It has been a pleasure. I'm so glad this worked out for us. So that signs off this first season of Friday Night Football PennZone. But hey, this isn't the end. So we'll let you know when it's coming back. But thank you all for following. Thank you for being a part of it.